Welcome back to Mornings on 2 to 9. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, with everyone from doctors to athletes to business owners asking people to think pink and support the cause.
And according to the Susan G. Komen Institute, it's estimated that by the end of this year, there will be more than 252,000 new cases of invasive breast cancer in women and 2,400 cases in men.
Let's talk more about this with Mary McGinty, supervisor of the Avon Breast Center and the mobile mammography outreach program at Zuckerberg General Hospital. Thank you for joining us.
Morning.
Can you help me first with the distinction between invasive breast cancer and, I guess, regular breast cancer?
So invasive is meaning it is spreading. So, and it has spread to like the lymph nodes, where breast cancer is going to stay in one place.
So is it dependent on when it's caught, or is it dependent on the type of cancer itself?
It could be both.
Okay.
We had that in my family, and we were happy to learn that it was not invasive, and then they had to, they removed the breasts. But it's a very emotional time, even though we caught it early. There were a lot of tears, and this is very emotional for families. How to talk about that part of it, how people cope?
The emotion, well, I think first is fear. So that is the first thing. But when somebody says you have breast cancer, what's going to happen? So it's really your support system that you have, either it be at home or at work. That is what you need in your support system.
Can you talk, Mary, about some of the barriers that you find a lot of women, especially in underserved communities, facing, the barriers they're facing in terms of getting screened, and how you're trying to reach them with the mobile mammography outreach program?
Yeah, so a barrier would be access. So we have a mobile unit that goes out into the community, and we bring it to the clinic. So that way patients that aren't going to come to the hospital can actually have the service brought to them.
Who are the women that you're helping the most?
The underserved and underinsured residents of San Francisco.
So the physical barrier, I can't get to the hospital, is one. What about either I can't pay for it, or I'm afraid how much it's going to cost?
So we have a system built in when, before you come, we pre-screen to see what program you are eligible for. So we help you find something so that you can get screened.
Do you find, it seems like every other week there is a new study, right? Start at the age of 40. You don't need to start till you're 50. Every year, every 5 years. Does the confusion lead a lot of women to say, you know what, I'm just gonna shelve this until they know for sure what I need?
Yes. So I always say you have to be your own advocate. You have to fight for when you think is best for you, especially with your family history. So be your own advocate.
So if let's say my mother had it, my aunt had it, you're requiring me to be the detective.
Correct. It's controversial of when you should start. We recommend the age of 40 and 35 with a family history. So advocate for yourself.
Let me ask you about some of the technology you're using. I was reading you're using equipment with your outreach program, something called a digital breast tomosynthesis. How much more, hopefully I pronounced that correctly, how much more effective is that than just a standard digital mammography? So
it is a state of the art. We actually have it at the center, not on the van.
Oh, okay.
It is reducing cancers, finding them earlier, and it is reducing the false positives, meaning so the patients that have to return once the screening has been read.
Mary, have you had someone come to the van and say, well, I wasn't going to do this, but here I am, and then later on it turns out that it was good that they were there?
Oh yes, yes. So we find screen detected cancers by the use of the van, and then they come back to the centers, to our center.
So they wouldn't have, maybe they were reluctant to come, and it was good that they did.
Oh yes, and that's what the outreach is about. It's outreaching to the community to bring somebody in that would not have gotten screened.
Aside from the technology, the medication, the big fancy buildings with the people who know everything inside them, can you talk a little bit about the support system many of these women and men need to create for themselves once they get that diagnosis, away from the medical part of it all?
Sure. So, well, again, it's what support system you have at home, or somebody that you know that has had breast cancer. That is a really good support. What did I go through? So a lot of them have therapeutic counseling that they meet. We have a care program at General Hospital, and everybody that has had cancer sits together. They can talk about when my hair falls out or how I feel. So that is something that we offer and that the other patients need.
Kind of a sister to sister. Look, I've been there. Let me hold your hand and help you through this.
Yes.
You'll get through it like I did. Okay, Mary McGinty, important information.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. A good reminder, if you haven't gotten screened, go ahead and do it. We have much more information on how you can help support the search for a cure for breast cancer coming up on the 9 at about 9:45.